All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is the Great Black North. I am your favorite author, Robert Malolo.
I am Devin M.D. Jones.
And I am Simon, aka Beats by Psy.
And we have a special guest today. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Michelle Joseph. I am a blogger. I publish Words with Michelle, which is a bi-weekly blog that features people that inspire me or motivate me or just cool, basically. So that's what I do.
How come none of us have been featured? Michelle?
That's coming. Don't worry. That's soon coming. Don't worry.
So Michelle, were you featured on 150 Her Story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you? Yeah, I was kind of shocked. I ain't gonna lie. I was pleasantly surprised. Actually, I was one of the women in Her Story in Black.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Congrats.
That is pretty cool. That was pretty cool. That was a pretty big event for the city, so I thought that was pretty nice. Yeah, I saw a lot of girls women, a lot of women.
Oh, that was good. That was a good catch.
It's all right.
Yeah, I know you.
I was about to come down there.
Just down the street to it.
Down the street.
Give him some beats, maybe.
The Beats by Devin.
Exactly. That was really good, actually.
Yeah.
That was good.
See, I was actually thinking about my AKA either being Beats by Psy or something like Whoopi. Like I couldn't think of a Whoopi Goldberg type reference, but to actually make it into. Well, Robert, explain what our actual topic of the day is.
Well, we are speaking of beats. We are talking about Whoopins, and literally the question that I have, the first question would be, has Whoopins made you a better person?
Okay, for me, luckily, I wasn't really beaten as a child. I just remember two experiences, and to this day, I'm still angry about it. I'm not gonna lie, it was not right. I won't say that it has made me a better person. It was more the fear of being hit. But I would say that my mom actually yelling my name was more fearful than actually being beaten, believe it or not. Because when she said my name in a certain way, I'm gonna get in trouble. Mm-hmm. So that was scary. That was scary for me.
Question: had you got the beats before that? Because sometimes the way that your parents say your name is because of you've been beat in the past, and that's just like an indication of like that noise in that voice is like, oh, that's what they sounded like the last time they gave me licks. So
no, I think it was just the anger. I think it was just more the because even to this day, I don't like my name called in a certain way. I'm not gonna lie, because it's just kind of seriously, I don't like it. Like I really don't. So it's like I don't know. I think it was just the anger and maybe disappointment, and then you knew you'd be cussed out for the next 10 minutes. It wasn't really the beatings because I didn't really get it. I got it. Maybe I saw it. Maybe I saw like either say my brother or someone else be beaten, but me, like I said, just those two times. But it was more so the anger. It was the anger that and you didn't know where the anger was gonna go. It was like, will you actually beat me? Which wasn't the case. It was just more, I don't know. I don't like it. I just don't like the way my name's called. It just makes me scared.
Simone, Beats by Psy.
Sorry, I had a little bit of technical difficulties, but I came back.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that it's had a positive nor a negative effect on me in terms of my life, and that sorry, let me rephrase that. It has had a positive effect on me, and it has had negative effects on me as well. So I'm on the fence entirely.
What are the positive and the negative?
Well, positive is that I really feel that I'm kind of a bad seed. So
Oh my God. Okay.
in truth, like it steered me away from doing certain things in life and so on. And in another aspect, like, you know, in truth, I got a lot of beatings as a kid. But but the truth is that like some of them I feel weren't really warranted. So
That's it. That's all. I think he's frozen.
positive.
Yeah.
You froze for a second, so we missed half of that.
Again. Okay, I'll say it again. Basically, some weren't warranted, but some, you know, actually had steered me in the right direction.
Okay. Roberto?
Well, when it comes to the beatings, I mean, like, my father usually was the one to actually provide those, and my mother was just angry. So when she was angry, she would just like start throwing stuff at me. My mother was like a baseball player at one point.
Wow.
Her target. But in terms of making me a better person, as a child, I was actually very angry, if you guys believe it or not.
I believe it.
But it made me less angry, I would say. It made me not less angry. Hold on. It made me less reactionary, I guess you could say, something like that. Like that's the positive aspect of it, but otherwise, I don't know. It's just I was always in fear of my parents. That's the negative part of it. So I couldn't really have a proper relationship with them till later in life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the amount of beatings and how severe they are. Actually, the severity is probably what I meant. Because if it's like a little spanking, whatever, that's cool. But I mean, if it was something that, if you're drawing blood from something, if you're bruised, then that, not you, but in general, like how I feel about beatings, I don't mind being disciplined. Like that's cool. I mean, like when I was a kid, but I think if it went over that certain line, then I'm like, is this really discipline at this point, or is this abuse? That's how I see it.
Yeah, and I guess there's like a thin line in general between beatings and abuse, and I feel like culturally, Caribbean, African generations have been, it's kind of been our norm. And I know for me, I got licks. My mom used to use this wooden spoon. She's broken a lot of them. The real fear is when she pulled out the plastic ones, because the plastic one didn't break.
Wow.
Yeah. But I remember that fear. But I also, like, when I think about it really, like when we are having this conversation, I had to think about it really hard. And I realized that they kind of stopped when I was like, in my, like when I reached like double digits. So like even like 10. Like by 10, like they weren't really happening anymore, because at that point she didn't need to do it anymore. Right? Because all she had to do was raise her voice and say my full name. And you're like, yes, mommy, I'm sorry, mommy. Like, you were like submissive right away, because you're just kind of like, oh Lord. And then at that age too, I did what Michael Jackson did. I used to outrun them.
Wow. Brave.
So I was really fast. I'm the youngest. So by that time, your parents are a little bit older and they've been through a lot. And so I'd run. And I just I'd run it. I'd keep running until she just tired, and she'd be like, I'll catch you later. And then she'd forget about it. And then I'd be okay.
Nice.
See, actually, I think it stopped when I thought I could take on my dad. I actually thought I could take him on like around like 14, 15 years old, because I had gotten taller. I was like, you can't beat me. And it was just, and plus, you know, you have your friends at school and everything like that that gas you up and everything, telling you, oh, no. And it's just like, no, you can't beat me. And it's just like, but then when he stands in front of you and everything like that, when you think like you can take him, and then he basically like size you up, and you realize this man is actually a lot stronger, a lot bigger. There will be some damage here, so it's like, you know, fall back. I never actually went through with trying to bad in any way, shape, or form, but Yeah, no.
But okay, so which one of your? Because I know for me, it was pretty much always my mom. I think one time my dad pulled out a belt, once, and
See,
I remember, and it was. I don't even think it was for me. I think it was for my brother. But other than that, it was all my mom.
no, me it was always my dad, and my dad was always like it was always him. But when my mom did it, like you know what, she did it like she probably did it 3 or 4 times. But whenever she did it, like I try and like I try and run towards because like I said, she throws things. So I try and run towards like an area where she would not want to throw something and hope that she
I'm
missed.
sorry. Oh
Yeah.
my god. So
Like
strategy. There's
That was
so
very
much
smart.
strategy.
I'm very impressed with that, with your strategy.
no, like this one time my dad was laying down on the couch and he had come back from work and I ran to where he was and I was hoping that you know what, if she throws something, she catches him and he's going to get mad and go and they go at it with each other.
He'd probably get mad
Not
at
a
you,
good
to tell you
idea.
the truth.
Yeah.
He'd probably
Yeah.
get mad at you because you're
Yeah.
the one who caused her to throw it in the first place.
And then you probably get double the beatings.
No,
Yeah.
but regardless, like I said, she hit her target. My mom can't throw nothing if she's not upset. She throw nothing for nothing. Like she,
Mm-mm.
you know how you say they throw like a girl. Like my mom throws like a girl. Yeah, for sure. She throws like
Wow.
a. But when she's upset, my mom could actually play for any baseball team and hit her target.
Devin's getting ready to say something.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Roberto.
Oh.
Or should I? Okay, it's Bob.
Bobby.
Bob.
Wow.
Look at
Is that
you.
you?
Okay, Dev.
I throw like a girl, and my throw is amazing. I will tell you that. I can throw a football, I can throw a baseball, I can throw.
I'm
soccer,
clapping.
I can
You
throw
said like an old
whatever.
lady.
And you know this, that I could probably throw it better than you.
Mm-mm.
So,
No,
Wow.
no.
really? Really?
No.
Oh,
No.
nah.
Listen. You fitness.
We're gonna have this.
It's not about
competition.
fitness. I'm an athlete. I'm an athlete.
I get it. But you know what? I real talk. I don't think you can throw better than me.
Wow.
We're gonna have to take this up to Toronto North High
Take
School.
this to the street.
We're gonna take this to
We
the
need
street.
to. We need to have this
Down the street
recorded.
right now.
I'll come check it out, eh?
I got football. I got basketball. Which one you want? Which one you
Listen,
want? I got them sitting right here.
On and
We can
everything.
play cricket. I don't have no problem. We'll do this.
Cricket? My dad was the cricket player. You think I don't know how to
Bowling.
bowl a cricket ball?
Yo, forget
No.
that. Listen, you can do whatever you want. I'm down for whatever.
Catch me outside.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, I had to.
I wanna come watch this. Serious. I want to see who's gonna win.
We're gonna have this competition, and the loser buys chimneys.
Sure.
For everyone.
Let's do it.
For everyone.
I'm involved in this.
Everyone involved. Let everyone be involved then. Let
Simon
everyone be
vote
involved.
for every.
I want a chimney.
Let everyone be involved then.
But like I said, I would just like you to apologize for like a girl.
Wow.
I knew you were gonna get that. I knew it. I knew
Yeah,
it.
like as he said that, I was like, you're putting like, you just,
Yeah.
just digging it.
Because
But it was innocent. I'm hoping it was innocent. It was innocent.
I'm not like an old lady. That's what I meant, really.
innocent comes from somewhere, right?
Mhm.
It's innocent because it's something that you believe and something that you believe in so internally that you don't even have to think about it, right?
I get that. What I'm saying is that's why I switched it to an old lady. That's what I meant. Like, I mean,
No, that's not what you said.
But I said it afterwards.
You
I did
said-
say afterwards.
I'm sorry, you can see me giggling. My bad.
I'm still waiting for an apology. That's all I'm saying. Or a
Listen,
retraction.
I switched it
Or
to
a
an old lady.
retraction.
That's what I
Wow, he's not apologizing. He's
I know, hey, man, you're stubborn.
Yeah, he's more stubborn than even me. I
Wow.
can't believe that.
And that's stubborn.
That's bad.
That's stubborn.
Anyways, back to our topic.
Nice segue. Good.
That's a see, Robert. Don't say that Simon never saves your butt. Don't
The
say
last time,
Yo, he's-
confession, the last time I was beat, I was in my early 20s. My dad hadn't beat me for years.
Holy crap.
But he was he was upset at me for doing something, and I was at the dinner table, and I believe I was eating a sandwich at the time, and like I'm a big guy, so he decided he was gonna try to beat me. He's like, and he warned me, and I was just there, and I was just eating my sandwich. So he grabbed his belt and he started beating me, and I was like,
holy crap. You didn't flinch?
I'm like, are you done? I was like, this doesn't work anymore. And it came to a point where he ended up just having to laugh because it's like, it was a toothless tiger. Absolutely. It was like, it did nothing.
That's actually kind of similar to like my last time was when my mom tried to give me licks and she hit me and I just looked at her.
Well, you're a brave man.
She tried it again, and then it's just like. But the thing is, I was a good kid for the most part. It's not even as if I was like all up in mischief, doing all sorts of madness. I was a pretty good kid, mostly because I watched my sister and brother make a lot of mistakes, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. And that I was like, so like what she was giving me licks for, I didn't really feel like I deserved it, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to stand up to this. And standing up to that probably helped me in general, knowing that I could stand up to a lot of different other things too.
Nice. That's cool. I don't know I wish I remembered the last time. Like I said, it was only 2 times in my life. So, my mom got angry over something. I don't know. I think I was just kind of like, how to back talk. Like we're arguing about something and I don't know what I said. And that's when she beat me and I'm like, I don't really like this. This did not help me. It did not help the situation. But I didn't really say anything. I just did not speak to her for like, I don't know. I mean, maybe that I wish I did stand up, but I didn't. I just kind of took it. And I'm like,
how old were you though?
Oh, I don't know.
How old were you?
I think I would have been like I don't know, 12 or something like that. Like I was young. It wasn't like yesterday. You know what I mean? It was a long time ago. But I don't know. I didn't understand because I'm thinking, look, I'll just kind of like if you're going to say something about me and if it's not right, then I have to put my 2 cents in. It's just whatever. So I guess she wasn't having it. And then I took the brunt of it. So, but after that was the last time. There was no other incident after that. I don't think I would have tolerated it, to be honest.
So I got a question now. So like, seeing as we've all experienced whoopings, beatings in our lives and so on, do we think that we as a society have grown past that, or are they still necessary in our society?
You know what? Like I see a lot of people are saying, oh, because actually G98.7 recently they had this segment about this woman whose child won't go to school. Regardless, she tried everything, but the child won't go to school, and now the government is actually suing her. They're suing her because the child won't go to school.
How old is this kid, though?
I always wonder. I want to know the whole story. Like, why? What is it that the kid is like avoiding by going to school? That's what I want to know. I want to know, is like something happening to the kid when they go to school? Is it like they're just stubborn? Like, is it? Like, I don't know the whole story. I remember hearing about that though.
Yeah. No. But what I'm saying though, with regards to that, what happened is like a lot of people called in and their complaint, the people said the government should not sue the mother. It's just that the government should be sued because they won't allow parents to discipline their kids, because they believe that, you know what, if they could discipline their kids the way they want to, which is, you know, the whole beatings and everything like that, it would actually make for a better, it would help the situation instead of, you know, giving you like an angry child or a fearful child at this point, which I believe that's what they would get instead. So to answer Simon's question, I don't think it's helpful. I don't think it was ever. I don't think it's.
Wait, you don't think been? I don't think helpful, or?
I don't think licks are helpful. I mean, you've seen the YouTube videos where the parents are so upset, like, you know, they beat their children and they put it on YouTube and everything like that. Like there's nothing helpful with the whole beatings and everything like that. You got people that the only thing that I remember that was actually beneficial, like, you know, that was actually fun, that was actually cool about the whole beatings and everything like that, is going to school and sharing the stories with your friend. Like, you share war stories at the same time. You sit at the table, at the lunchroom table, and be like, yo, I got beat the other day and everything like that. And oh, yo, that ain't nothing.
Are you serious? Who's sharing these stories?
Everybody.
For real?
Shared their stories. That's how what brought the black kids together and kept us together. Because there wasn't that many. There wasn't, like, in my high school where it was probably like 5 of us girls, and we used to eat lunch, and like when the black guys would come and chill with us, that was our stories. We'd always tell our lick stories, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
and that was like something like that, kind of like brought you together, which is kind of sad.
I've experienced some of those.
Seriously?
That's one thing we did. Like, I mean, like, actually, you know what? Real talk. I grew up in France. I grew up in Montreal, in Toronto.
I didn't know that.
And all 3 places, it's always the same thing. When it comes to recess, lunch, we always, like, I mean, there was always like somebody that basically shared a story like that, and it would basically bring out all the stories from other people at that point.
Or when you come to school and you can't sit down.
Wow. I was a good kid. I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty much a goody. So,
and like I said, I was a good kid. It didn't mean that I still didn't get licks. Like, there's some things you had to. My mom used to say I had to learn things the hard way. You know, there's some things that I had to learn. And I was very, very. I was a little bit. I would talk when I didn't think was talking back. But my mom thought, like, my chore was dusting, and I hated dusting. And I just finished doing the dusting. Like, I actually did it. I didn't try to avoid it. And then my mom's like, there's dust everywhere. Look at this dust. And I was like, you have dust on your eyes. Like under my breath. Wow. Mm-hmm. I got licks for that.
Yeah, you would get beat for that. Yeah. For real. You were looking for it, man.
I was not, but it was
I'm hearing it now. I'm thinking, yo, you need to get beat for that. Like, I'm thinking. Yeah.
The guy who says that
you didn't think it was. I know.
Right, said it's not necessary in society. He's like, you should get beats for that.
Oh my God.
That's called talking out of both sides of your mouth.
Nah.
Way to go, Bob. Way to go, Bob. Whatever. All right. So I was checking into doing a little bit of light reading, and I ended up on this site called verywell.com. And they call it spanking, so you know it wasn't us. But so they say the reasons that parents tend to spank is usually out of desperation. And when kids frequently misbehave, parents may feel they are at their end of their rope and aren't sure what else to do. The problem with spanking is that spanking doesn't teach kids how to behave appropriately. Spanking models aggression, and spanking children who are spanked often feel shamed. There are more, but those are like the top 3.
Disagree.
But
do you disagree or agree?
I disagree.
Yeah. Wait, I have one more. The one most important one that I thought was very interesting. Spanking isn't an option as children grow older. So if you have always used spanking to discipline your child, what will you do when they turn 16? Which I found is actually very interesting when they kind of stand up to it. So the reason why I found that interesting is because Simon and I both shared our stories of what happens when you try to use that discipline when the child gets too old, right, for it, and us standing up to it. And I think for me, it helps me in general in a good way of being able to stand up to my bully to a certain extent. Like, there's nobody, to this day, there's nobody who can bully me, right? There's nobody who can bully me more than my family bullied me. So if somebody's like, oh, you have to do this because I'm a bully, and I'll be like, nah, man, thanks. I was like, try it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like nobody else can affect me. And that comes in the corporate world, that comes in my personal life. Like, there's nobody who can bully me now, right? But that's because of the discipline that I received as a child.
I don't know. You know what? I'd say it had a negative Me, it was the total opposite. I feared authority, like throughout, and I basically had to work on that on my own, basically, to like have more respect for myself and everything like that, and not allow people to actually walk all over me and everything, because I allow people to walk all over me at that point in time. Is what I'm saying.
And that doesn't happen anymore. And that doesn't happen anymore.
No, it doesn't happen.
See, there's the thing that we kind of got to look at. To me, it's about balance. Some of the things that were said in that, and I said disagree in that. I don't entirely disagree with everything that was said or how it's said. It's just it's a very definitive way of putting it. They basically said this is that, the other, and they put everything as if it's in stone. Whereas I don't necessarily believe that, like, what they were saying is matter of fact. Like, I'll be honest. I see a bunch of kids out today
that need licks.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, true.
Like Devin just finished my sentence. I don't have to say any more to it. Like they do, and like we've become a society of weenies and wimps, and I'm sorry to say it, but like they don't allow fighting in school. They don't allow this, that, the other, and they don't allow whoopings, and it comes to the same place. They always say that violence is never the answer. But these are the same people that sit there and say, hey, let's go out and have a war. Like, again, talking out of both sides of their mouths. And what it is to me is this. Like, there's a kid that goes out there and bullies another kid and bullies them and bullies them and bullies them till these kids commit suicide. And honestly, if they just allowed fighting in school like they had back in the day, and they never really allowed it, but like it happened. Right? That kid that's bullying got knocked in the teeth just once, it's over. That kid stops bullying people. That's the way it is.
Have you seen some of the fighting videos between these kids in school now?
Because they escalate too far. They've gone too far. They've gone too far.
I don't like to see that kind of stuff.
Like honestly, it comes to a certain point. Like if you let things build and build and build and build and build, it comes to a point where somebody's just going to go absolutely nuts. And things end up happening crazy.
I'll say I agree with you in terms of like a lot of parenting has gone soft but it's more in terms of like not exposing kids to no's. You know what I mean? Like not exposing them to, like I said, I have a thick skin because I got teased at home, like catch jokes, like how we talk amongst ourselves and like make fun, like this is like how my family was, right? Versus at home where they're all like, you're beautiful, you're amazing all the time. So that one time somebody says that you don't know
how to take it.
You're not cute. They don't know how to take that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm over this now, but for a long time I wouldn't sing in public because my parents used to make fun of me. My parents and my siblings made fun of my singing, and both of my brother and sister are amazing singers. So I'm the only one who can't sing like them, right? So they made fun of me and then I couldn't sing in public for a very long time. But the thing is, for anybody who makes fun of my singing, or just be like, oh, you have a nice voice, and I'll be like, oh, really? Because everybody else hates it. You know what I mean? Like, so little compliments go a very long way. But I feel like it's actually example. I have someone that I know, I'll keep all names out of it. We were talking about guys and dating and whatever. And she was talking about how she saw some guy on Facebook or whatever. And she's like, I'm going to make his life hell. And I was like, what happened? Like, what happened when you guys dated? And like, what happened? And she's like, no. And I was like, what happened? And I was just like, she's like, oh, he doesn't know. He never knew that I was alive. I liked him and I wanted to date him and he never paid me any attention. So I'm going to ruin his life.
So she's psycho. Okay.
No. She just doesn't know how to react to negative, or even just neutral energy. it's like
she doesn't know how to
have
react.
that attention.
Exactly. And it's like, part of it is, well, she's an only child. And part of it is in the fact that everybody in her life told her that she's wonderful and everything should go great for her and everything should be beautiful. So they created this like fantasy world for her. Bubble. Exactly. Bubble. And so when she went out into the world and things didn't go that way, all of a sudden she just crumbled. Like, she crumbles very easily at the smallest thing, right? Because she hasn't been set up for that. And I think how this relates to getting licks and stuff is it kind of, and it's not even really that I condone it. Like, I was like, I don't really 100% condone it. Like, my nieces, I've never hit any of my nieces because I don't have to, right? Because when Auntie did it, I may grab an arm, grab an arm a little tight and say, hey. But I don't have to meet them because that grab arm is one time I'm like, what did I just say? That's enough.
You are West Indian. Are you West Indian? Yeah, okay. For real.
Canadian West Indian. But yeah, like, I did what my mother had to do, especially when you're in public, but like, hey, just and I look and they're like, all right, they're so cute, they're good, right? But I think that's also built on a certain amount of respect and trust that person is trying to help you out as much as anything. Versus, I think, like, when you cross the line and it's licks, then it goes into a fear versus respect.
See, you know what? Speaking of that, and like going back to something Robert was saying too earlier about like respecting authority, I feel that there's a lot of kids out today that do not respect authority, whether it be their parents, whether it be like, teachers or other adults, period. Like, we were talking about that kid the other day who had his feet up on the subway and the lady asked him to put his feet down, and then he just started cursing at her or whatever. It's like, yo, honestly, like, sometimes people just need licks. But apart from that, like, I understand fear is usually looked at in a negative light, and they say that fear is debilitating. It's not always debilitating. Fear sometimes is a motivation. If I see a lion coming towards me and I'm scared that it's going to eat me, I'm running. Fight or flight. Fight or flight is action. And that being said, like, it propels you to do certain things at certain times as well. So, I mean, necessarily saying that fear is a bad thing all the time, I don't necessarily think so.
I think I like what you guys were talking about the respect thing. I mean, like, because the kids do not have any respect for anyone. I see it. I take the bus. I see the way they act. And we were talking about how the parenting style has changed over the years. Yes, parents are extremely slack in that sense. They're not as they're not seen, and you don't need to be feared, but you have to be respected. And I feel like kids are not afraid of their parents. They feel like they're on the same playing field. They feel like they're friends. The way they speak to each other, like, I hate you. Who says that?
I can't with the friends with your parents. I'll be like, how many times has my mother said to me, look, I am not your friend.
But it's true.
Right? My mom reminded me, I am not one of your little friends. My role in this world is to make sure that you make it. Right? Yep. And people are trying to be friends with their kids, and that's a huge problem.
It's a huge problem. It's huge. Because then kids don't respect older people, like anyone older than them. They don't, because they see them as their friend. They're the same level. And I'm like, we're not the same level. I have a nephew who's 5 years old, and I'm like, look, like, he's a good kid, but sometimes I have to, like, look, I'm auntie. I'm like, I'm old. I'm not 5. So, and at least he listens. I mean, we don't have to beat him, but we have that certain tone in our voice, and he realizes, okay, I cannot play. Like, she means business. I think parents need to kind of go back to that. If you're not going to beat, if you're not going to spank, then at least have some sort of authority. And, you can't give in. I see parents give in all the time, and it annoys me because I'm like, look, this kid is going to be a monster. You're creating a monster.
I hate that it's even just giving in per se, because, like, people talk about grounding and other types of discipline and this, that, the other. And, like, they say that beating is abusive. And yes, there are times, and yes, I agree that a lot of the time parents go too far. But there are other things like, yes, and it has psychological effects on people, but so does putting a kid in their room and locking them in there for hours. That has psychological effects on people too. And that can become abusive when you do certain things. There's a story of a family that basically when their daughter misbehaved, they made her drink water and drink water and drink water all the time. And she actually diluted her body to a point where she died.
Oh my God.
It's like
wow.
You know, there's extremes to everything, and it's about finding that balance again, where it comes to like how you discipline your child and whatever. I mean, I'm not a parent, so I can't necessarily say that like I have the right answers or all the answers towards different things, but I turned out pretty good, and I got beat. So
I'm asking a question then.
You did turn out pretty good.
I'm asking
That's questionable.
It's debatable. Yeah.
Simon, let me ask. Since you know you got beatings, you know you turned out pretty good. Would you beat your kids?
Good question.
That is a very good question. I have not decided on that. I lean towards yes, but I know that I would do it different than the way my parents did. That's the most the best answer I can give. Like, I mean, one of my cousins, she was talking about it the other day. She only beats her child in certain circumstances, and the child knows the circumstances with which she will be beaten. Right? I kind of like that, and I kind of don't, because now you know they know where the limit is, and they can sit there and just, they can push things to the limit. But at the same time, I sit there and I say to myself, like, I mean, I know for the things that I got beaten for, I wouldn't necessarily give a kid a beating for. Period.
Okay. All right. So basically, based on the circumstances, it would depend.
Yeah, I mean, if my kid is going out and beating up other kids in school or bullying them, hey, I might just say, hey, you know what? If you're not going to stop this, I'm going to give you a beating. Period. Right? Like.
But usually, the kids that are usually doing the beatings are the ones who are usually beaten, because it's used as a form of discipline and getting people to do what you want to do. Well, that's what they're taught. It's
sometimes that, but sometimes the kids that just don't know how to take actually having anybody have that negative side to them, they lash out and they start hitting. Because a lot of these kids that don't get beatings, they hit their parents.
Wow.
I've seen kids hitting their parents before in public, and I'm sitting there like, crazy. Yo, you're gonna take that from your kid?
Yo, my kid. Anyhow.
You're
right here. Anyhow. But wow. Even my nieces though, like, because like I'm not having kids, but like my nieces, anyhow, and then I'm trying to hit me, I'll drape them up. I'll drape them up.
Please explain the word drape for those who don't understand.
Drape. Hold on, I have to do up my thing. Drape them up. You grab their clothes.
Oh my God! You're so wrong.
But you know, you saw it and you're like, that's draping them up.
Yep.
That was good.
It's like, grab the clothes, you could grab an arm, that part when you grab, when you grab them at the arm right here. And yeah. And I will not hit them, but I might hold them and just shake them just a little bit.
All right.
That's funny.
I don't know if you guys remember, we had a guest one time. What's his name? Donovan McKenzie from Heart of a Man, and we were talking about the topic at the time was what it means to be a man. I think Simon and Devin, you guys were not on. It was me, Donovan, and we had Sasha as a guest, and we had another person as a guest as well, Mr. McGregor.
Okay, we got it.
Yeah, okay. But anyways, whatever. Donovan basically spoke of him getting beat as a kid, but then, you were talking about kids that are getting beat that become bullies, and that's what he became. like, you know what, he was taking out, like lashing out the anger that he had at home to other students at
That's what
school.
you're saying.
Because he couldn't do it to his parents. He
Exactly.
found people who were smaller than him.
Right, exactly. So that's a perfect example of what you were talking about just there. Yeah, and I think, you know what, it depends on the kid, like, you know, how like, you know, them getting beat, like how they relay that, like they relay that. Like, I mean, my parents, after they beat me, they came and talked to me and told me, you know what, you need to stop doing this so that I don't have to beat you, because I don't want to beat you, that type of thing, whatever. They basically give me a talk afterwards.
But that's good. Like,
Yeah, that's awesome.
if you have an understanding of why whatever is happening to you, then that makes sense. Like, for even, like, as much as I say the draping up of my nieces and whatever, like I rarely have to actually do it. Like, I've probably grabbed an arm. I've never actually draped any of them up, you know, but and I'm not listening to the camera. It really
It's so funny.
I've never actually done it to any of them, but they're all different, right? And they're all different personality types, so you have to actually deal with them differently, right?
How old are they?
That's important too. Like,
yeah, so my nieces there's 5 of them, and they age from 3 to 11.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, and so they, like, for the oldest one, so my oldest niece, and when she was a baby, even when I say baby, like maybe like 1.5, 2 years old, right? If I would discipline her, our discipline was like, when she would start crying, I would talk to her and I would say, like, especially because she'd be crying to like get taken out of her playpen or whatever, right? And I would stop and I would come and I would acknowledge her crying and I would say, I am not going to pick you up until you stop crying. Okay? If you want me to pick you up, and I just keep saying, you have to stop crying, you have to calm down, and then I'll pick you up. Right? And then eventually it got to a point, like that was when she first started. And then whenever I took care of her, she knew that if she wanted out, her playpen, that learned behavior was, she'd be like, and if she started crying before I could get her, then she wouldn't get picked up. So she learned not to cry. In order to get picked up, she would just be very aware of that. Right? Wow. So it was something that was taught, but the thing is, that works with her, but it didn't work with the other ones. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean, like, each of them are different, because her little sister is the youngest, the 3-year-old, Lord. she's rambunctious, but she's also, her parents, she didn't have the same discipline that her older sister had, right? So like the oldest child and the youngest child usually have different discipline patterns. It's just the same thing in my family. I'm the youngest. My brother and my sister had different discipline patterns than what I had, right? So it's, I don't know. I did a lot of research on birth order and how kids act and why, but a lot of it is how the parents treated them because of when they were born. Right? So there's all these things that you need to take into effect, whereas like beatings worked for the older kids, but it didn't work for the little kids. It's just, and Simon said it, it's like, it's everybody's different. Every kid's different, and you can't do the same thing for every kid.
Some kids need licks, some kids don't.
Yeah, exactly. For me, I think it's more so watching it. I remember my nephews being beaten in front of me, and I was grown, but they were like a lot younger than me, and I'm like,
did you grab popcorn and start laughing?
No. It was not a show. It was not entertainment. No, actually, it bothered me, and actually, it really, really bothered me. Because first of all, they're beaten in front of me. I mean, if you're gonna beat them, bring them to the room, beat them there if you want, but not in front of me. I realized that they had such resentment for their mom, up until this day, and they're grown men. Because she just beat them. That was her sport. Beating them was a sport.
I totally get that, because I remember there was this guy that I grew up with, and his mom showed up to school when he was like a teenager, showed up to school in curlers and licked him at school.
Wow.
Yeah, Yeah.
That's
You know,
horrible.
but you know what's interesting about this guy? This guy never dated black women.
Oh,
Well, I get it. I get it.
And it all makes sense.
Yeah.
It all makes sense. And he had a lot of problems.
Issues, yeah.
Right? Like, and I was like, yeah, because you embarrassed him in front of, like, you know what I mean? And as like, so he has animosity towards black women now.
Yeah.
But there's also all these alternatives that people are coming out with, like, oh, you lose your cell phone privileges for a week, or you're or I'm gonna shave your head and put it on YouTube, and so on and so forth.
That's
that is straight abuse with the shaving your head stuff and putting it up. No, because that you can't pull that down, and everybody sees that junk. But like, the other things is like certain things of maybe privileges and this, that, the other. I agree with taking away privileges at sometimes, but sometimes there are extremes with that too. Like, I mean, maybe if their phone is there also for them to have safety or whatever, because they need to go to the store and you need to stay in touch with them or so on and so forth. If you take away that particular device, you could be setting a kid up to, you know, be in a bad situation too. Like, I don't know. There's
I went to the store without a cell phone and I came back. Like,
I get that. I think there's a few more rapist bands out now than there.
No, there's not. We just know about it.
You know what?
We just know about it more. We just have we have social media now to tell them. I remember the guys in the white vans when I was a kid, and picking up kids.
You know, my cousin recently, it was about 2 years ago. She was 16, and she basically got home drunk. And her parents basically, they were so upset, so angry. So instead of, you know, beating her or anything, they sent her to a all-girls school in the the boonies of Quebec, the province of Quebec, like, you know, Terrebonne or whatever, where basically is remotely nothing going on there. And they left her there for about a year. And
sounds like she probably got drunk a couple times.
That would mess you up, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like you make a mistake and your parents send you away.
No, it's just that because they did the beating before and they said, you know what, we don't know what we want to do. So they sent her over there. And for an entire year, after a year, she basically was begging and saying, I will never do it again. I'm not going to get drunk again or whatever. I will be a good child, that type of thing. And it seemed to be positive. It seemed to actually have worked. I mean, right now, it seemed to have worked.
How old is she?
Oh, yeah.
Now she's 18. I mean, it happened 2 years ago. But after 2 years, it seemed like, you know what?
That's going to have repercussions for her love life.
Yeah, that's not fair for her. Yeah.
She's going to have a hard time loving.
But you know what? She's a kid. I mean, we make mistakes. I mean, like, she made a mistake. She came on drunk. Do you have to, like, that's pretty extreme.
The drunkenness comes after a series of, you know, of other things that she had done prior.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, it comes to like when people send their kids to boot camp or whatever that
military school and stuff.
Military school. What?
I got you.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know.
That to me is like, ugh, that's an extreme.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that.
But you got people like yelling at you, telling you, like, you know, like, I mean, a lot of people say that it creates discipline. That's what a lot of people be saying.
Not for everybody though. As a certified boot camp instructor, and I always have like that line of being a trainer and people thinking that like, oh my gosh, are you going to yell at me and do things? And I was like, no. I was like, people are more likely to do things and actually continue to do things if you teach them the whys of what they're doing it, and you encourage them so that they feel better when doing it, versus teaching them to have a negative effect, something negative to encourage to make them do something.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like, and that doesn't work for everybody either. And I tell people, I'm like, if you want a trainer who's going to yell at you and make you feel like garbage, then that's not me. I was like, I know some trainers like that. I can refer you, but that's not going to be me. Right. And so it's just like there's a lot of kids that military school is just going to make them worse. It's going to make them serial killers is what it's going to do.
You know what? I have a question. Now, we talk about getting beats and everything like that. When you talk about the whole shaving thing, shaving in her head and putting it on YouTube, it was not the child's mother that actually shaved this kid's head on that one video. It
There's
was
been
the
many of them.
mother.
There's been many of them.
Hmm?
There's been many of those videos.
Yeah.
The father's done it, the mother's done it, whatever.
That's
like,
twisted.
No, but I'm saying like with the stepmother doing it, right? Like, is that?
Whose phone's ringing?
It's mine. Hopefully.
Do I pick up and drop?
Yeah.
Hold on. Maybe someone else will get it.
Someone
Okay,
else?
good. Okay, good.
All right, cool. No. What I'm saying is with the,
Stepmother.
having a stepmother, having a person like basically a stranger, like, coming in and just like disciplining someone else's child, like, the other parent, like, the other parent doesn't have to be. Is that even okay at this point in time? Like, like,
Yes.
You saying it's okay?
No, I mean, having other people be able to whoop your child, yes. I agree with it.
No.
And the reason
What about the community discipline?
Nah.
Mental play?
Your kid, like, let's say, God forbid, let's say you get a divorce. The woman with whom you had a child with is married to another man, and this man beats your child. That's okay?
Whoa.
Yes. Well, see,
Well, I gotta agree with Simon to a certain extent because
yeah, I'm
if
not saying it's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Devin. Continue.
Go ahead.
No, like to me, it's like, honestly, if I was in a situation where I had a child and then I got divorced or whatever, and then the child was living under some other dude's roof, I'm gonna have a conversation with him and sit there and be like, yo, shaving my kid's head and putting that on YouTube, that junk? No, that's not going to happen. Beating the child, making sure the child respects your authority, we got to have certain parameters around these particular things. And this is how I do things with my child. And you got to remember that this is, at the end of the day, still my child.
Sorry,
right?
it's my phone.
So, like, just got to, I think the conversation with the other adult has to happen before things end up going down a direction that it shouldn't go.
Yeah. Well, if you want that child to respect that step parent as a parent, then they need to have the same or similar, like, disciplinary, I guess, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but like they have to have the same power as the biological parent.
Okay. Basically,
like, I don't know, because I was talking to a friend of mine who is a step parent, and her thing was to be like, oh, you just have to stay out of everything and not interfere at all. And I was just kind of like, these are your stepchildren. Like, I was like, I know I couldn't do that. Like, there are certain things that you got to stay out of, right? Which I totally get. There's certain things that are like, okay, mom and dad make those final decisions. But at the end of the day, if you are a full family, right? Like, you're trying to create this full family unit, then that person needs to have some sort of say in it, right? Yeah, and some part in that.
It comes down to a similar thing, like, okay, a teacher can't beat a kid. I understand that. Like, but
they used to
a teacher, yeah, I understand that. But like, there are situations where I actually have spoken to some teachers, and there are kids in schools that the teacher's not allowed saying the word no to them at all. Like, you're not allowed telling that child no. And this is what the parents tell the teacher, right? I mean, there has to be some form of disciplinary action coming from other people other than just the parents.
Well, that's why kids act out in schools now, right? Because the teachers have no power.
Right.
I get it. I hear that. I believe it. But no, I'm guessing, I mean, like, to what extent, I mean, should a teacher be able to actually discipline a kid? I mean, I know children.
Back in the day, if you're in the West Indies, you got licks. My mom always tells me the stories of when she got licks. And my grandma used to tell me for when you made on your tests and whatever, forever, however many wrong you got, that's how many licks you got.
Wow.
Yeah. And she's like, I always had 100%. And then at the end of the year, I was like, I've heard the story. I can't even remember if it was my mom or my grandma because they were both goody. They were so good.
That's what they tell us all the time.
I know, right? And my mom, I think it was my mom this time that she was like, she did so good and she got her grades were so good and she never got in trouble the whole year that at the end of the year, her teacher told her, well, you're the only person who never got licks. And it doesn't look good, so I'm gonna have to give you licks.
That's a joke, right?
No.
That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And so she got licks, and she's like, I cried. She's like, and I cried, and it hurt so much. And she's like, I tried so hard not to have it, and she was like, she's still upset to this day that lady gave her licks for no reason other than other than fairness to everybody else who wasn't good.
That's terrible. I'm sorry. I think maybe if I had kids, I probably wouldn't beat them too. Now I'm thinking after hearing all this, I'm like, okay, I probably would still. In extreme though. I feel like it wouldn't be like normal. It would have to be like you really worked my last nerve. I would have to, I hate being the new age mom, but I think I would have to talk to the kid, but strong though, but firm. I wouldn't be like, no, Jimmy, or whatever. I'm not doing that. Yeah, the drape up.
Just drape up.
You'd name your kid Jimmy?
Okay, no, I wouldn't. Okay, I would not have that name, but I would talk to my kid. I'm sorry. I don't know if I want to full on beat right now.
You know what it is? I feel like kids I react to disappointment more than beating. Like,
yeah.
When my parents were disappointed in me, that was like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Really, Robert?
What, is he redecorating? What's going on?
Are we boring you, Robert?
I do have to go soon, though. I just gotta let you guys know. I'm just looking at the time right now.
Yep. We're about to wrap up, right? Simon?
Okay, cool.
Pretty much, pretty soon.
Okay, good.
But I just want to, I guess we gotta talk about our good news.
Yes.
Today.
What is happening, Robert? Are you okay?
This is hilarious. Are you fine?
Robert, really?
I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm just
Are you cooking? What's going on?
Gosh. No, just my laptop had to get never mind. Anyways. I had to get off screen. That's all. I had to get off screen.
Okay, so what is our good news before we get into the events for the day?
Our good news. Basically, the good news was. Thanks. We were. I'm sorry. I totally spaced out. We were talking about a child who got accepted to 8 Ivy League schools, including Stanford.
Nice.
No,
that wasn't that good news. Shoot.
My bad.
That was a potential good
That's
news.
That's the one I remember.
The one that we were going to talk about was the fact that Dear White People is coming to Netflix this week as a television show. So look out for it.
I think it's April 26th.
Still haven't seen the movie.
I haven't seen the movie either.
I know. I'm bad. I'm a bad person.
You're a horrible person.
Exactly. The beating.
Dear White People, yes.
So Dear White People is coming on Netflix as a series. I'm loving what Netflix has been doing lately. There's been a lot of like
diversity,
right? There's even like shows, Arabic shows, and like other shows that you can watch. Like 3% was a pretty good show. It was a
Brazilian
Brazilian show.
That was a good one,
right? And I mean, like
Brazilian, right?
Yeah, Brazilian. All this diversity in Netflix with Even there's like Indian movies now, TV shows, Korean shows and stuff.
I've been watching Australian sitcoms. Oh, they're interesting and funny.
Pacific Heat is the cartoon is pretty hilarious too.
Yeah. Where's that from?
It's on Netflix. It's Australian as well.
Australian? Okay.
And then there's that show Glitch.
Is that like Archer?
It's kind of like Archer, but like basically it's more of a. I love the banter because like what'll happen is somebody will say something, and then somebody will respond to it and be like either thinking about it in a different context or like just totally wrong about it, and then the other person will go on saying the correct thing, and the person will be like, yeah, well, yeah, this other part is kind of true, and they're just all sort of petty, and so I love it. I just love it.
You like petty.
What can I say? I am petty.
But Dear White People coming up is definitely
one to watch.
One to watch. I know white folks are really upset.
Not all, just the ones that feel like
the Trump supporters
being called white is racist. I was like, all right.
Same people that didn't like 13.
Yeah.
Same people that didn't like Luke Cage. Luke Cage was too black. Oh, Get Out. Not Get Out. The Get Down had part 2 come out.
Yes.
Recently.
I watched it. It was. They took part 2 is different from part 1.
Definitely.
Very different.
Very.
At first, it took me a little while to get into the cartoon part of it.
Yeah.
Whatever, but then I got used to it, and I kind of enjoyed.
Yeah, because some of the cartoon part gets a little weird, and you're just kind of like, what's happening? But at the end, it was really good. It was a really great story, and I was like, I have so many questions from it, though.
Right.
I was like, how real is this? Is this person really this person? Like, are these based on some real characters at least? Or like, like all those things kind of.
Well, Grandmaster Flash, Cool Herc, and Africa Bambaataa, yeah.
But is like Curtis Blow represented in there? Like, you know what I mean? Like
Grandmaster Kaz, he was in there too. So
yeah. So it's just kind of like, is that who you're trying to say that is by saying that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying not to give away too many spoilers for those who haven't, but it's interesting. And then, is it Naz's story? Like, you know what I mean? Because he's the voiceover. Like, you know what I mean? He was actually too young for that.
Yes,
for like the time that they're talking about it. But still, like, it's all of it is super, super interesting. But yeah, I think our goodness in general is yay Netflix for opening up like our options in terms of choosing. And even you get to see some Nigerian movies, some South African movies.
I stayed away from the Nigerian movies. That's
why I like I've been watching Nigerian movies from before.
Because my grandfather has all, he has all of them. No lie, he has every Nigerian movie ever made. He doesn't speak a word of English, but he's watching regardless. And then he wants you to translate.
Support your people. That's what's up.
He knows what's going on. He explains to you what's going on in the story, but he still wants you to translate whatever they're saying. No, I'm not done with. I'm traumatized.
That's funny.
It's funny that you're more traumatized by that than the whoopings.
I was traumatized by the whoopings. Didn't I tell y'all that?
I said
more.
I didn't say you were.
Exactly.
All right. So we got some events happening. Does anybody else? I have one, so I can start. If anybody else hasn't, please
go ahead. I have another one.
We have the BFLN Speaker Series. So Gender Diversity and Canadian Democracy. How can women of color forge a path into politics? So that the BFLN stands for Black Female Lawyers Network. And that is happening Wednesday, April 26th from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. in Toronto. And it's at Denton's Canada LLP. You can find that it's an Eventbrite series. So if you look at BFLN series speakers, then you'll find the tickets for that on eventbrite.ca. Tickets are only $25. So make sure you get to check that out. There's lots of awesome speakers. And should be great.
Okay. Well, my event is called Poetic Justice. That's happening at Mystical Lounge in Ajax. It's basically going to be a night of positivity and consciousness where a variety of local artists will be coming forth to showcase their talents. The address of that event, the event is happening May 11th from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. It's at 282 Monarch Avenue in Ajax at Mystical Lounge. So again, May 11th. And yeah, it's gonna be a pretty cool thing.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
I don't actually have any events. I will be attending some events. There's an event happening this Thursday, the Authors Coffee Meetup. I can't remember. I think it's EXO Cafe in Etobicoke. So I'll be attending that. And other than that, I'm just working on my blog. Basically, that's what I'll be
What's
doing.
your blog site?
Yeah,
It's wordswithmichelle.com.
wordswithmichelle.com, and it's bi-weekly, you said?
Yes, bi-weekly. So
All
I
right.
need to post ASAP. I need to post another interview as soon as the last one was a really good experience. I actually interviewed Marcy Ian, the news anchor, and she's on The Social right now. That was an awesome interview. So
by bi-weekly, you mean
every other week?
Other week.
Yeah.
Yeah, every 2 weeks. Yeah.
I hate that. It's
Why?
because the original
Why?
meaning for bi-weekly is actually twice a week. And
Oh, is it? Okay. So bi-monthly then. Let's say bi-monthly. So then how about bi-monthly? Okay, bi-monthly.
But you don't know, but it can't be bi-monthly doesn't mean that it's only going to be twice a month sometimes.
It's right. Yeah.
There's some months, because if you say you're getting paid bi-weekly, then
that's every 2 weeks.
That's the American. That's the American.
So, but I'm standing by bi-weekly.
The American version of the change, because it's a fortnight. A fortnight is actually is every other week.
Okay, so I publish fortnightly. No, I'm just kidding.
Fortnightly.
So every 14 days you will see. No, I'm just kidding. I say, it's every 2 weeks. I'll just keep it like that. It's every 2 weeks I publish. So I'm due for another interview. So I need to post something soon.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, this was a good time that we had here. Before we go, I just want to say, I want to show that I'm wearing, I'm going to be displaying various shirts from designers in the city. This is a leak now, some from our very own Simon.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That one. So Leaking Awesome shirt that I'm wearing right now. And every show, that's what I'll be doing. I'll be showing different shirts. I have a lot of shirts from different designers in the city. So that's what I'll be doing now. Just putting everybody on the map, on our map, on the Great Black North map, people know that we are here celebrating and supporting local talent in the city. Okay. All right. So signing off now, I am your favorite author, Robert Lolo.
I am Devin MD Jones.
I am Simon Whoop. There is.
I guess I'm Michelle. Michelle Joseph.
Yes.
Am I part of the mix? Michelle Joseph, blogger, aka vlogger. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, no, aka chatty girl. That's what I'm supposed to be, but whatever.
Chatty girl.
Chatty girl.
Sign it off. Have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Adieu to you and you.
Bye.